The day the Dovar ships appeared in Earth's sky, everything changed. 7 massive vessels, each shaped like a dark metal teardrop, hung over major cities across the globe. Seoul was one of them. Dr. Jamin Kim was eating lunch when the news broke. He dropped his chopsticks and ran outside with everyone else. The ship above Seoul blocked the sun, casting a shadow over the city. Jamin felt small under its massive presence. "Professor Kim," a voice called from behind. It was his assistant. "The university called. The government wants you immediately." As South Korea's top xenolinguist, Jamin had practiced for this moment his whole life. He never truly believed it would happen. 3 hours later, he sat in a hastily assembled crisis room with military officers, scientists, and government officials. On the large screen, the first images of the Dovar played. They were tall, at least 7 feet, with smooth gray skin that shimmered slightly under lights. Their bodies were muscular, with 4 arms that moved with precise control. But it was their eyes that struck Jamin most. 3 black orbs arranged in a triangle on their faces, constantly moving independently of each other. "They've made contact," said General Park. "They speak perfect English, Mandarin, Russian, every major language." "That's impossible," Jamin said, "unless they've been studying us for a long time." The general nodded grimly. "Our thoughts exactly." The screen changed to show a recording. A Dovar stood next to the UN Secretary General, who barely reached the alien's chest. "We are the Dovar," the alien spoke, its mouth moving strangely around human words. "We have observed your planet for many cycles. Your civilization has reached an acceptable level for contact. We will assess your species for potential integration into the galactic sphere." Jamin leaned forward, watching closely. Something in the alien's tone bothered him. The video continued. "We wish to select representatives from each major region. These humans will visit our vessel to begin understanding our ways." "They're treating us like children," Jamin muttered. "Dr. Kim," the defense minister said, "you've been selected as part of Korea's delegation. Your understanding of language patterns might help us." Jamin felt his heart race. Fear and excitement fought within him. 2 days later, he stood with 11 other Koreans at the base of the massive ship. A platform descended slowly. 3 Dovar stepped off, moving with graceful power that reminded Jamin of large predators. "Welcome," the center Dovar said. "I am Emissary Tolk. You will now enter our vessel for preliminary compatibility assessment." A young woman beside Jamin whispered, "Compatibility for what?" Jamin glanced at her. She was small, with simple clothes and an unremarkable face. Her ID badge read Hannah Park, Administrative Support. "I don't know," he whispered back. As they walked up the ramp, Jamin noticed something odd. While the Dovar spoke Korean perfectly, certain movements of their mouth didn't match the sounds. He began noting these discrepancies mentally. Inside the ship, they entered a vast chamber with walls that seemed to glow from within. The air smelled clean but strange, like nothing on Earth. "Your species is physically underdeveloped," Emissary Tolk stated while guiding them through corridors. "But we see potential for service roles within the sphere." Jamin caught the implication immediately. "Service. We were hoping for an exchange of knowledge and culture." The Dovar's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. "All species serve according to their abilities. This is the way of harmony." As Jamin processed this, he noticed Hannah Park watching the Dovar intently. Not with fear or awe like the others, but with a calculating gaze that seemed to notice everything. The Dovar led them to individual rooms for rest and adjustment. Before entering his, Jamin saw Hannah smile slightly to herself. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the look of someone who had just figured something out. Something important. Morning came with a strange blue light filtering through the walls. Jamin woke confused until he remembered. He was on the Dovar ship. A soft chime sounded, and a voice spoke in perfect Korean. "All humans report to Assessment Chamber 3. Follow the green path. Jae-min stepped into the hallway where green lines glowed on the floor. The other Koreans emerged from their rooms, looking tired and nervous. Hana Park stood quietly, watching everything. "Did you sleep?" Jae-min asked her. "A little," she replied. "I was busy listening." "To what?" "The ship. The way they talk when they think we can't hear." She kept her voice low. "They have patterns." Before Jae-min could ask more, they arrived at a large circular room. Delegations from other countries were already there. Americans, Chinese, Russians, and more. In total, about 100 humans stood uncertainly before 7 tall Dovar. The lead Dovar, larger than the others with decorative metal pieces on its arms, spoke. "I am High Commander Krell. Today you will undergo assessment to determine your usefulness. Physical tests will be first." The tests began immediately. Humans were asked to lift weights, run on strange treadmills, and complete puzzles. The Dovar recorded everything, occasionally making sounds to each other that weren't translated. Jae-min struggled with the physical tasks. Most humans did. The weights were too heavy, clearly designed for Dovar strength. When Jae-min could only lift the smallest weight, the Dovar observer made a clicking sound that needed no translation. Disappointment. Hana's turn came. She was even smaller than Jae-min, and the observing Dovar didn't hide their lack of interest. She lifted the small weight with difficulty. "Insufficient," the Dovar stated. "Move to cognitive assessment." The cognitive tests were on screens that showed strange symbols and patterns. Humans did better here, though the Dovar still seemed unimpressed. Jae-min, with his language skills, scored high on pattern recognition. When Hana's results appeared, the Dovar seemed confused. "Average performance," one said, but Jae-min noticed it looking at her screen longer than others. After the tests, they were taken to a large eating area. Food, or what passed for it, was served on metal trays. It tasted bland but filling. Jae-min found Hana sitting alone and joined her. "What did you do on that test?" he asked. Hana took a small bite of food. "I got some answers wrong on purpose." "Why?" "Look around," she said quietly. "See how they're grouping people. The ones who did too well are being watched more closely." Jae-min looked. She was right. The humans who had performed best were seated near Dovar observers. "They're afraid of potential threats," she continued. "Better to seem average." A Dovar approached their table. It was Emissary Tolk. "You are Hana Park, administrative worker," he stated. "Your test results show no special talents." "I'm just an office assistant," Hana replied, eyes downcast. "I'm honored to be here at all. Your role will be data organization. Simple work suitable for your abilities." The Dovar moved away. "See," Hana whispered. "They underestimate what they don't fear." Later that day, the humans were shown a presentation about the galactic sphere, an empire of 23 species, all under Dovar control. The images showed massive fleets and conquered worlds. "The sphere brings order," High Commander Krell explained. "Each species serves according to their strengths. Humans will find their place." As the lights dimmed for another video, Jae-min noticed Hana writing something in a small notebook. When she saw him looking, she turned the page slightly. It read, "Their empire has cracks. They don't see them. I do." For the first time since the ships arrived, Jae-min felt a small spark of hope. 3 days passed on the Dovar ship. The humans were assigned tasks based on their assessment results. Jae-min worked translating Earth texts into formats the Dovar could study. It was clear they wanted to learn everything about human culture and history. Jae-min rarely saw Hana. She had been assigned to a data processing room, where humans entered information into Dovar systems. It seemed like boring work, but whenever he spotted her in the dining area, she looked calm and focused. One evening, Jae-min found her sitting alone. He joined her with his tray of food. "How are you holding up?" he asked. "Fine," she said. "The work is simple. How about you?" They have me translating human history books. I think they're looking for our weaknesses. Hana nodded. They are. But they're showing me their weaknesses too. Jae-min leaned closer. What do you mean? I process reports from all departments, she explained. I see patterns. The Dovar have a strict chain of command. No one questions orders. No one shares information across departments unless ordered to. That's normal for a military structure, Jae-min said. But it's their whole society, not just military. And there's more. She lowered her voice. They can't handle conflicting information. When two reports don't match exactly, they freeze. Their system has no way to resolve small differences without involving superiors. Before Jae-min could respond, a Dovar approached their table. It was Sub-Commander Vex, who oversaw the human workers. Mealtime ends in 3 minutes, the Dovar stated. Return to quarters after. Yes, Sub-Commander, both humans replied. But Hana added, may I ask a question about tomorrow's work assignment? The Dovar paused, its 3 eyes focusing on her. Proceed. I noticed report Series 47 contains different population numbers than Series 48, which should I consider correct when processing? The Dovar's smooth movement suddenly stopped. Its eyes blinked in an uneven pattern. That is not possible. The reports cannot disagree. I apologize, Hana said softly. I must have misread. Show me tomorrow, the Dovar ordered and walked away stiffly. Jae-min stared at Hana. What was that about? A test, she whispered. I wanted to see how he'd react to a simple data conflict. Did you notice? He didn't say he would check both reports. He just denied it could happen. Later that night, Jae-min couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about what Hana had said. Could the powerful Dovar really have such a simple weakness? A soft knock came at his door. It was Hana. I shouldn't be here, she said, but I need your help. She showed him her small notebook, filled with notes and diagrams. I've mapped their command structure. See these patterns? Their communication only goes up and down, never across. Each Dovar only knows what they need to know for their specific role. Like compartmentalization, Jae-min said, understanding. Yes, but extreme. I think they evolved this way. Their minds can't handle too many variables at once. So what can we do? Introduce variables, she said with a small smile. Create small conflicts in their information. Nothing big enough to notice as sabotage, just enough to cause confusion. That's dangerous, Jae-min warned. More dangerous than becoming their servants forever. Than Earth being just another conquered world. A noise in the hallway made them both freeze. Heavy footsteps passed by. A Dovar patrol. Think about it, Hana whispered when the steps faded. Watch them tomorrow. See if I'm right. After she left, Jae-min sat on his bed, troubled but intrigued. The mighty Dovar had seemed unbeatable with their advanced technology and physical strength. But maybe, just maybe, they had a weakness after all. The next morning, an announcement echoed through the ship. All humans report to the Grand Hall immediately. Jae-min joined the stream of people moving through the corridors. In the crowd, he spotted Hana and moved toward her. Did you do something? He whispered. Not yet, she replied. But something's happening. The Grand Hall was the largest room Jae-min had seen on the ship. High Commander Krell stood on a raised platform with 6 other high-ranking Dovar. Their posture seemed stiffer than usual. Humans, Krell announced, your assessment period is complete. The Dovar High Command has decided that humans will be integrated into the galactic sphere. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Each of you will be assigned to appropriate duties based on your abilities. Some will remain on this vessel. Others will be transferred to Dovar colonies to begin integration programs. Jae-min felt a chill. This wasn't an alliance. It was the beginning of human servitude. You will receive your assignments now, Krell continued. Report to your designated areas immediately. Dovar officers moved through the crowd, handing out small tablets. Jae-min received his. He would stay on the ship as part of the Cultural Analysis Division. When he looked for Hannah, she was already being directed to another exit with a group of administrative workers. Hours later, in his new workspace, Jae-min tried to focus on his task, analyzing human literature for submission tendencies, whatever that meant. His mind kept returning to Hannah's words about the Dovar's rigid thinking. A message appeared on his work screen. Access needed to cross-reference cultural texts. Use code S771. The message had no sender name, but Jae-min suspected it was from Hannah. He entered the code and found himself able to access a different section of the Dovar information system. There, he found a folder labeled Human Integration Timeline. The files inside made his blood run cold. The Dovar planned to gradually replace human leaders with their own administrators. Within 5 years, Earth would be fully under Dovar control. Terrible, isn't it? Jae-min jumped. A Korean man in a military uniform stood behind him. Captain Ta-Woo Lee. The man introduced himself quietly. I work in their weapons division now. Hannah sent me. How did she get access to these files? Jae-min asked. She didn't. She created them. Jae-min stared. What? The real plans are worse, but hidden deeper. She made these files and left them where mid-level Dovar could find them. Some will think the timeline is too slow, others too fast. It will create arguments. That's her plan, to make them argue. Ta-Woo nodded. It's just the beginning. She needs our help. You with language, me with military protocols. What exactly does she want me to do? Mistranslate. Subtly. When you translate Earth documents, change small details. Make peaceful human actions seem confusing to Dovar minds. Make our thinking patterns seem more alien to them than they are. That evening, a group of 10 humans met in a storage room. Hannah stood before them, calm and focused. They think we're weak because we're not as strong or advanced, she said, but complexity can defeat strength. The Dovar evolved as apex predators. They never needed to understand complex social dynamics like humans did. What's our goal? Someone asked. Confusion first, then division, then breakdown, Hannah explained. We create small problems that grow into big ones. We turn their rigid thinking against them. Jae-min watched her explain the plan with simple, clear words. For the first time, he saw the power in her, not physical strength, but something far more dangerous to the Dovar. The ability to understand systems and break them from within. 2 weeks passed. Small changes began to appear in the Dovar ship's operations. Nothing major, just tiny inconsistencies that grew like ripples in still water. Jae-min sat at his workstation, carefully translating a book about human cooperation. He changed key phrases to make human behavior seem more unpredictable. Where the original text said, humans form social bonds through mutual trust, Jae-min wrote, humans form temporary alliances that shift without warning. It wasn't a big change, but it planted a seed of doubt about human predictability. In the dining area later, he noticed 2 Dovar officers speaking in sharper tones than usual. One held a tablet and pointed angrily at something on the screen. It's working, Hannah said, appearing beside him with her food tray. Those 2 are arguing about inconsistent reports on human behavior patterns. How do you know? I have eyes and ears everywhere now, she said simply. Captain Lee placed small recording devices in key areas. Isn't that dangerous? Less dangerous than doing nothing. They ate quietly for a moment. Then Hannah added, today I switched the supply numbers for 2 different departments. Each thinks the other took their resources. That seems small, Jae-min said. Small things matter. The Dovar expect perfect order. When things don't match exactly, they don't adapt well. Jae-min had noticed this himself. Yesterday, when a human worker arrived 3 minutes late to a shift, the Dovar supervisor had seemed genuinely distressed by the minor schedule disruption. Later that day, Jae-min was called to translate for a meeting between Dovar officers and human representatives. High Commander Krell was discussing the next phase of human integration. 6 of your cities will receive Dovar administrative centers, Krell explained. Your leaders will report to our administrators. The human representatives looked worried but said nothing. Then one of the Dovar sub-commanders spoke up. High Commander, the report from Security Division indicates that only 4 cities are prepared for administrative centers. Krell's 3 eyes blinked in rapid sequence. That is incorrect. The plan specifies 6 cities. The report shows 4, the sub-commander insisted, showing Krell his tablet. Janmin recognized the document. Hannah had mentioned changing some numbers in the integration plans. This is an error, Krell said sharply. Correct your information. My information comes from Central Planning, High Commander. The room grew tense. The Dovar never contradicted each other, especially not in front of other species. We will discuss this privately, Krell said. Humans, return to your quarters until called. As the humans left, Janmin caught a glimpse of Krell's face. The Dovar commander looked confused and angry. That night, Hannah's group met again in secret. The team had grown to 15 people now, each working in different areas of the ship. They're starting to question each other, Hannah explained. Now we push harder. She handed out new assignments. Janmin would add subtle errors to translation databases. Captain Lee would misplace small items in the weapons storage. Others would create minor problems in food distribution, environmental controls, and communication systems. Nothing big enough to be sabotage, Hannah reminded them. Just enough to make them doubt their perfect system. As the meeting ended, a young scientist asked, "What if they catch us?" "They're looking for enemies with weapons," Hannah replied. "Not mice nibbling at wires." Walking back to his quarters, Janmin saw 2 Dovar guards arguing in a hallway. They never used to argue. Their perfect discipline was breaking down. For the first time since the aliens arrived, Janmin allowed himself to feel real hope. Hannah's plan was working. The mighty Dovar were starting to crumble from within. A month had passed since the humans began their quiet resistance. What started as small inconsistencies had grown into larger problems. The Dovar ship no longer ran with perfect efficiency. Janmin walked through a corridor and noticed something new. Dovar guards were now posted at information terminals. They had never needed guards before. Trust was breaking down. In his translation office, Janmin received a message from Hannah. Phase 2 begins today. Be ready. He wasn't sure what Phase 2 meant, but he soon found out. That afternoon, all humans were called to a special announcement. High Commander Krell looked angrier than Janmin had ever seen him. "Attention humans," Krell began. "We have detected unauthorized access to Dovar systems. This is unacceptable. Anyone found responsible will be severely punished." Janmin kept his face neutral, but his heart raced. Had they been discovered? Additionally, Krell continued, all humans will now work under direct Dovar supervision. No human may access any system without a Dovar present. As the humans dispersed, Janmin felt a moment of panic. How could their plan continue with constant supervision? He returned to his workspace to find a Dovar officer waiting for him. "Translator Kim," the Dovar said, "continue your work. I will observe." For hours, Janmin worked normally, not daring to make any changes to the translations. The Dovar watched every keystroke. When his shift ended, Janmin worried their plan was finished. In the dining area, he couldn't find Hannah anywhere. Captain Lee sat alone, and Janmin joined him. "They're watching us all now," Janmin whispered. "We can't do anything." Lee smiled slightly. "That's part of the plan." Hannah knew they would increase supervision eventually. "How is that good for us?" "Because now each Dovar is responsible for a human's work. If mistakes happen, that Dovar will be blamed." Jamin understood suddenly. "And we're still making mistakes." "Exactly. But now we make them differently." Lee slipped a small device under the table to Jamin. "This creates small power fluctuations. Use it when your supervisor looks away. Make it seem like system errors, not your actions. The next day, Jamin tried it. When his Dover supervisor turned to check another screen, Jamin pressed the device in his pocket. The computer flickered briefly, and a word in his translation changed. The Dovar turned back. What happened? The screen blinked, Jamin said truthfully. A word changed. The Dovar looked suspicious but couldn't prove Jamin had done anything. After all, Dover systems were supposed to be perfect. The supervisor made a note on his tablet. Over the next week, similar system errors happened across the ship. Each supervising Dover had to report these problems to their superiors. No one wanted to admit their supervision had failed, so many Dover began hiding small issues instead of reporting them. This was exactly what Hannah had predicted. The Dovar's fear of appearing incompetent to their superiors was stronger than their commitment to accurate reporting. One evening, Jamin finally saw Hannah again. She looked tired but satisfied. Phase 2 was working, she said quietly. They're blaming each other now, not looking for human sabotage. How do you know? I process reports, remember. The Dovar from different departments are accusing each other of incompetence. They've never faced this kind of internal conflict before. What's next? Jamin asked. Phase 3, Hannah replied. We plant evidence that some Dovar are secretly working against their own leadership. That's dangerous, Jamin warned. Hannah nodded. It is, but their whole society is built on absolute loyalty and perfect hierarchy. The idea of betrayal from within will shake them to their core. In the distance, they heard the sound of Dovar voices raised in anger, something that would have been unthinkable just a month ago. They're beginning to break, Hannah said softly, and they don't even understand how it's happening. The sound of heavy footsteps woke Jamin from sleep. His door slid open, and 4 Dovar guards entered his room. Human Kim, come with us, one ordered. Jamin's heart pounded as they led him through the corridors. Other humans watched with fearful eyes as he passed. Had they discovered his role in the resistance? The guards took him to a large chamber he had never seen before. High Commander Krell stood at the center. Beside him, held between 2 guards, was Hannah. Translator Kim, Krell said, his voice colder than usual. Your associate has been caught accessing restricted systems. She will be punished. You will witness and then inform the other humans of the consequences of betrayal. Jamin looked at Hannah. Her face showed no fear, which confused him. If they had caught her, shouldn't she be afraid? Do you have anything to say before your punishment? Krell asked Hannah. Hannah smiled slightly. Yes. I have a question. Have you checked the reactor control systems today? Krell's 3 eyes blinked rapidly. What? Your ship's main reactor. Have you personally verified its status today? Or did you simply read the reports? Krell turned to a nearby officer. Check the reactor status. The officer tapped on a control panel. Status normal, High Commander. Are you sure? Hannah asked. Because 3 different departments are currently reading 3 different power levels. One says normal, one says low, and one says dangerously high. The room grew tense. Another officer spoke up. That is impossible. Check, Krell ordered. The officers worked at their stations. After a moment, one said, engineering reports normal status. Another said, security shows power levels at 60%. A third added, life support indicates levels at 130% and rising. Krell's face darkened. How is this possible? Because I wanted it to be possible, Hannah said calmly. I changed how your systems talk to each other. Each department sees what I want them to see. Fix this now, Krell shouted. I can't, Hannah replied. And neither can you. Your officers don't trust each other anymore. If you tell them the readings are wrong, who will they believe? You or their instruments? Jamin watched in amazement. Even while captured, Hannah was still in control. What do you want? Krell demanded. First, I want you to understand something, Hannah said. You think humans are weak because we're not as strong or advanced as the Dovar. But my power isn't physical. It's psychological. I understand systems and how they break. She stepped forward, and surprisingly, the guards let her. I studied game theory and behavioral systems analysis on Earth. I learned how complex organizations fail. Your society is powerful but rigid. You never evolved the flexibility that humans needed to survive. Krell seemed disturbed. You are one small human. You cannot defeat the Dovar. I already have, Hannah said. Your chain of command is broken. Your officers are hiding information from each other. Some believe others are plotting against them, because I planted evidence suggesting exactly that. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the ship. That's the reactor warning, an officer said, panicking. It shows critical failure imminent. Is it real? Krell asked Hannah. I don't know, she replied honestly. That's the point. Your systems are so compromised that even I can't tell what's real anymore. Krell stared at her with a new emotion Jamin hadn't seen in Dovar before. Fear. All this time, Krell said slowly, we were watching for weapons, for physical attacks. But you attacked something we couldn't see. Yes, Hannah agreed. And now you have a choice. You can continue trying to control Earth and watch your empire tear itself apart from within. Or you can leave and rebuild what I've broken. Another alarm joined the first, and then another. The mighty Dovar ship, once a model of perfect order, was descending into chaos, and at the center of it all stood Hannah, small but undefeated. Chaos spread through the Dovar ship like wildfire. Alarms blared from every section. Officers rushed back and forth, receiving conflicting orders from different commanders. In the control room, High Commander Krell struggled to restore order. Silence those alarms, he shouted. Check reactor status manually. But the damage was done. Hannah's work had created deep distrust within the Dovar ranks. When one officer reported the reactor was safe, others questioned if he was telling the truth or covering up a failure. You see, Hannah told Krell as they watched the confusion. Your greatest strength was perfect trust in your system. Once that's gone, everything falls apart. Jamin stood nearby, amazed at what was happening. The mighty Dovar, with all their physical strength and advanced technology, were being defeated by doubt and confusion. A voice came over the communication system. Commander Krell, human ships are approaching. They have weapons activated. What? Krell turned to the screen. How did they coordinate an attack? Hannah smiled. That would be Captain Lee's work. While I kept you busy here, he's been sending messages to Earth using your own communication systems. More alerts sounded. Another officer rushed in. Commander, the other Dovar ships are reporting the same system failures, and 3 of them are reporting internal fighting. Fighting. Among Dovar. Krell could not believe it. That is impossible. Not impossible, Hannah said quietly. Just unprecedented. I planted evidence in each ship suggesting some Dovar were secretly working with humans. In your rigid society, the very idea of betrayal is so shocking that it created panic. Outside the ship, Earth's military forces gathered. They weren't as powerful as Dovar technology, but they didn't need to be. The Dovar were already defeating themselves. Krell faced Hannah directly. Stop this. Tell me how to restore our systems. I can't stop what's already in motion, she replied. Your officers no longer trust each other. Some believe you've been compromised. Others think different departments are hiding information. The only way to end this is to leave Earth. A new voice came over the system. Captain Lee, speaking from the communication center. This is a message to all Dovar ships. Earth's forces are prepared to attack if you do not withdraw immediately. We have identified critical weaknesses in your vessels and will target them if necessary. It was a bluff, but the Dovar couldn't know that. With their systems showing false information and their command structure in disarray, they had no way to verify what was true anymore. Krell's three eyes darted between screens, showing conflicting information. For the first time, he seemed truly lost. "Commander," an officer said, "Sub-Commander Vex is ordering weapons to be prepared without your authorization." "What? Stop him. He says you've been compromised by human influence." Jamin watched as the perfect Dovar hierarchy collapsed. Officers argued openly now. Some believed the reactor was truly failing and wanted to abandon ship. Others thought it was human deception and wanted to attack Earth immediately. Through it all, Hannah stood calmly. She had predicted this exact scenario, what she called cascading system failure. More reports came in from other Dovar ships. 2 had already broken orbit and were retreating to space. Their commanders had decided the confusion was too dangerous to risk staying. "You have a choice," Hannah told Krell. "Leave now with some dignity and order, or stay and watch your entire command tear itself apart from within." Krell looked at the chaos around him, the arguing officers, the flashing alerts, the conflicting information. Then he looked at Hannah, this small human who had done what no weapon could do. "All Dovar ships," he finally said, his voice heavy with defeat, "prepare for immediate withdrawal from Earth orbit." Human victory had come not through superior strength, but through understanding how complex systems fail. One by one, the Dovar ships left Earth's orbit. The massive vessels that once cast shadows over major cities now retreated into space. Some Dovar chose to stay behind, those who had begun to question their society's rigid ways. 3 months later, Jamin sat in a large conference room at the United Nations headquarters. Representatives from around the world had gathered to hear Hannah speak. She stood at the podium, looking small but confident. "The Dovar weren't evil," she explained. "They simply couldn't understand systems different from their own. Their strength became their weakness when faced with human complexity." World leaders listened carefully. The Dovar threat had changed everything on Earth. Old enemies now worked together, united by their shared humanity. "We must learn from this," Hannah continued. "The galaxy has many species. Some will be like the Dovar, powerful but rigid. Others may be more flexible. We need to be ready for all of them." After the speech, Jamin found Hannah talking with Captain Lee and several scientists. "The remaining Dovar have been helpful," Lee was saying. "They're teaching us about their technology in exchange for learning about human social systems. A fair trade," Hannah replied. "They get what they need. We get what we need." Jamin smiled. "I still can't believe it worked. When the ships first arrived, I thought humanity was finished." "Most people did," Hannah said. "They saw the Dovar's physical power and advanced technology and assumed we couldn't compete. But strength isn't always about size or weapons." A Dovar entered the room. Sub-Commander Vex, who had chosen to stay on Earth. He no longer wore his military decorations. "Hannah Park," he greeted her with a small bow, a human gesture he had learned. "The other independent Dovar wish to meet with you. We are struggling with our new freedom." Hannah nodded. "Of course. Freedom is harder than following orders, isn't it?" "Yes," Vex admitted. "Our minds were not trained for so many choices, but we are learning." Later that day, Jamin walked with Hannah through a park in New York. The spring air felt fresh and clean. "What will you do now?" he asked. "You're the most famous person on Earth." "Teach," she said simply. "The next generation needs to understand what happened and why it worked. Physical power will always exist, but psychological understanding is just as important." "Do you think the Dovar will come back?" Jamin asked. "Some will, those who can adapt. The rest will avoid us. They'll tell stories about the dangerous humans who defeated them without firing a shot." In the distance, they could see a new building being constructed, the Galactic Relations Center, where humans would train to meet other species. Hannah would lead the training program. "You know," Jamin said, "when I first met you on the ship, I thought you were just an ordinary office assistant." Hannah laughed. "I was. My job was organizing complex filing systems and making sure different departments communicated clearly. I just applied those skills to a bigger problem. Above them, stars began appearing in the darkening sky. Somewhere out there, the Dovar were rebuilding their society, perhaps learning from their encounter with humans. And other species were waiting to be discovered. "We'll be ready next time," Hannah said, looking up. "Not because we're stronger or more advanced, but because we understand something the Dovar didn't." "What's that?" Jamin asked. "That true power isn't about domination. It's about adaptation, about understanding systems and how they work together. The lesson of humanity's first contact would guide them into the future. Physical strength could be overcome, technology could be manipulated, but the power to understand complex systems, that was the most dangerous power of all."